Very good evening and welcome to Primetime News on TV1 for the Newsfirst, where the people come first. I'm Martin Satyadesan.
And I'm Thiruni Karunaratna. Here are tonight's top stories.
On Newsfirst.
Heavy rains continue across many regions. Flooding submerges roads as rivers overflow. Kalani at risk level. No return to the 2022 crisis. An assurance from the president. Sri Lanka prepared for global economic pressures. A statement from the IMF. Arrest warrant issued for former minister Basil Rajapaksa.
Is this prevailing rainy condition expected to intensify over the next few days, or will it gradually ease?
Now, what are the reasons behind this changing weather pattern? For more details and the very latest updates, here is Viara with the weather outlook. Viara?
Yes, Theruni and Martin, as we all know, the prevailing showery weather conditions are being caused by the southwestern monsoon gradually establishing itself across the island. Now, as a result, several areas are continuing to experience increased rainfall. Since last night, heavy showers have been reported in many parts of the country, including Colombo, with persistent rainfall continuing into the morning hours of today. Now, due to these conditions, a number of incidents have been reported due to the conditions, including localized flooding, fallen trees and road obstructions affecting movement in several areas. Meanwhile, water levels in the key river areas have also risen. The Attanagalu Oya at Dunamale, the Kaluganga at Ratnapura and the Kalani River at Hangwala and all reached minor flood levels. Now, in addition, several other rivers are approaching levels that require close monitoring. Now, let's take a closer look at these incidents reported across multiple areas during the past 24 hours.
This is extreme weather.
Intermittent heavy rainfall has been reported in Colombo and its surrounding areas since the early hours of today. As a result, transportation was severely affected while daily activities were also significantly disrupted. With the prevailing rains, Armour Street in Colombo was also inundated. In Udupila town, houses, commercial establishments and roads were submerged due to flooding. Following the overflow of Pus Ali Oya, the Padukka Hangwala road at the Malwatta area was inundated as seen here. Due to heavy rainfall, the Avisabella Colombo main road at Puakpitia was submerged. This led to disruptions in vehicular movement. Our correspondent reported that several low-lying areas including Akadagama and Panakava were flooded following the overflow of the Akadagama Canal. Several areas including Nigambo's Gomezwatta, Rubberwatta, Deniyayawatta and Puak were inundated. The Ratnapura Colombo main road at Udumatta was submerged due to rising water levels. Roads and low-lying areas in the Getahatta area of Ahaliagoda were inundated as well. The Colombo-Kurunagala 265 main bus route was submerged at Minuwangoda due to the overflow of Ma Oya. This was the situation observed in and around Wayangoda town today. Amid ongoing rain, several wards at the Chilau General Hospital were flooded this morning. Strong winds that swept across Chilau early today caused a large tree to collapse onto the Chilau-Colombo road at the Galahitiyawa area, disrupting traffic. Damage was also reported to the roof of the Chilau police station. The Kirindivela Pugoda road was inundated. Marandigahamulla in Divulapitiya was also affected by flooding. The Samagi Mawata area in Katana was similarly submerged due to rising water levels. Red alerts have been issued for landslide evacuation in 7 divisional secretariat divisions across the Kegal and Ratnapura districts. In the Kegal district, red alerts have been issued for the Deraniyagala, Ruwanpalla and the Hiyovita divisional secretariat divisions. In the Ratnapura district, red alerts have also been issued for the Ratnapura, Ayagama, Kuruvita and Ahaliguda divisional secretariat divisions. In addition, landslide warnings under level 1 and level 2 have been issued for the districts of Colombo, Kalutara, Gampaha and Nuwara. Meanwhile, with the prevailing heavy rainfall at Yatanugala Oya, at Dunamale and the Kaluganga at Ratnapura have reached minor flood levels. The Department of Irrigation stated that water levels in these areas continue to rise. According to the department's data, the Kalani River has reached risk levels in Houngwalla and Glencoe areas. A minor flood warning issued for the Kalani River has also been updated. Accordingly, residents living along the Kalani River in the Sitawaka, Dompe, Padukka, Homagama, Biyagama, Kaduwela, Kurannava, Kalaniya, Wattala and Colombo Divisional Secretariat divisions have been advised to remain highly vigilant over the next 48 hours.
විශේෂයෙන් කාලගුණදා දෙපාර්තමේන්තුව මේ සම්බන්ධව නිකුත් කරනු ලබන ඉදිරි නිවේදන සම්බන්ධව විශේෂ අවධානයකින් කටයුතු කරන්න. මොකද මේ දවස්වල මෝසම විටින් විට සක්‍රිය වීමේ හැකියාව තියෙනවා. එහෙම වුණාම අපිට තදවැසි අපේක්ෂා කරන්න පුළුවන් විශේෂයෙන් බස්නාහිර, සබරගමුව, මධ්‍යම වයඹ පළාත් වගේම ගාල්ල මාතර දිස්ත්‍රික්කවල.
Meanwhile, the highest rainfall recorded today was in the Pambegama area of the Kegal district. The rainfall recorded there was 336.5 millimeters. Kirindivele recorded 332 millimeters, while the Friendrick estate in Kegal recorded 291.5 millimeters and Kalutuwawa recorded 237 millimeters of rainfall. Labugama recorded 224 millimeters of rainfall. Hangwala recorded 216 millimeters, while Dummala Surya recorded 215.7 millimeters. The Disaster Management Centre stated that approximately 5,500 people have been affected due to the adverse weather conditions experienced over the past week. Passengers travelling to Bandaranaike International Airport in Katunayaka have been advised to arrive well in advance of their departure times in view of the prevailing adverse weather conditions. In a notice issued by airport authorities, passengers were urged to plan their travel early due to disruptions caused by heavy rainfall. It was also noted that several sections of the road from Minuwankuda to Katunayaka have been inundated. As an alternative, passengers have been requested to use the expressway when travelling to the airport in order to avoid delays and ensure timely arrival for flights.
It's now southwest monsoon is gradually getting established over the island. Now showers or thunder showers will occur at times in the western, Sabaragamu, northwestern, Kandy and Nuwara district as well as Gaul and Mathura districts. Now heavy falls above 100 millimeters are likely at some places in the western and Sabaragamu provinces and in the Gaul and Mathura districts as well. Now a few showers will occur in the Anuradhapura district. Showers or thunder showers may occur at a few places in Uval and in the Ampara and Batikla districts after 2 p.m. Now heavy strong winds about 35 to 45 kilometers per hour can be expected at times over the western slopes of the central hills in northern, north central, northwestern and southern provinces and in Trincomalee district. Now, as usual, the general public is kindly requested to take adequate precautions to minimize damage caused by temporary localized strong winds and lightning during thunder showers.
This is extreme weather.
President Anura Kumara Dissanayake has assured that Sri Lanka will not face a recurrence of an economic crisis similar to that of 2022.
The president made these remarks while attending the event to recommence construction work of the Nindavur Cultural Centre.
Construction of the Nindavur Cultural Centre, which began in 1999, was completely halted in 2014. The project, which has been restarted in response to a long-standing request from the people of the Ampara district, carries a total estimated cost of 945 million rupees. An allocation of 300 million rupees has been made for the project under the 2026 budget.
We have gradually rebuilt the economy. We have had to face several challenges, including Cyclone Ditwa. We experienced multiple shocks, including one of the largest economic downturns in recent history. We made a firm decision to overcome these shocks and rebuild. We allocated 500 billion rupees to face the issues brought about by Cyclone Ditwa. Not a single cent was borrowed. We did not print new money. We protected the funds in the treasury and used them when the crisis emerged. That is how an economy is built. Then we faced developments in the Middle East, where conflict began to affect global conditions. Oil supply routes were disrupted, fuel prices increased, and farmers did not receive adequate fertilizer subsidies. The fishing community also faced difficulties. We decided to provide relief. When people face hardships, a government must stand by them. We have spent 100 billion rupees to support the public. Although we have stabilized the economy, external pressures have risen once again due to renewed tensions in the Middle East. The cost of importing fuel has increased and the prices of all imported goods have gone up. More dollars are flowing out of the country, while sectors such as tourism and exports have also been affected. As a result, the dollar has appreciated slightly against the rupee. Some claim this situation is similar to 2022. It is not. In 2022, we did not have rupees. Banks did not have dollars. The central bank had only about $50 million. Today, the central bank holds close to $7 billion. By the 20th, we expect to receive another $700 million. We have reserves now. However, we must manage the economy carefully. We will not allow shortages of essential imports such as fuel, gas, milk powder or fertilizer. That will not happen. In the past, these items ran out completely. That situation will not recur. While there is pressure, we will manage it. These are external challenges beyond our control, but we are capable of facing them. Some are trying to create fear and claim this is another 2022. That will not happen. We will resolve this situation.
The president further stated that the responsibility of ensuring a country where the law is applied equally to all can only be fulfilled by the current administration.
We have completely eliminated corruption within the political authority. With nothing else to do, some are making baseless allegations. I assure you that neither I, nor my cabinet, nor my members of parliament will misuse or steal public funds. If anyone does, they will not remain in this government. That is the kind of government the people need. We also had the responsibility to act against corruption and fraud. Now we have the mandate to enforce the law against those who have misused public funds. Everyone is subject to the law. No one is above it. Only then can this country be rebuilt. When the law is enforced, some become unsettled. You are seeing that today. But we will not reverse our decisions. Bringing people onto the streets will not change the course we have taken. If I do not establish the rule of law now, no one else will. Previously, former presidents were provided houses, vehicles, and had their utility bills paid by the state. We have stopped all of that. Some claimed they would not leave their residencies, but we were not intimidated. We passed the necessary laws in parliament and implemented them. That is how a country is rebuilt.
The president received a strong response from those present at the event.
Sri Lanka is now in a stronger position to manage economic challenges with a more robust policy framework in place compared to previous years. This is according to the International Monetary Fund's Mission Chief for Sri Lanka, Evan Papageorgiou.
International Monetary Fund's mission chief for Sri Lanka, Evan Papageorgiou, noted that while recent global developments have created renewed external pressures, Sri Lanka is better equipped to navigate such shocks, reflecting progress made under its ongoing reform program. The IMF Executive Board is scheduled to consider the combined 5th and 6th reviews under the extended fund facility next week on the 27th of May. Papageorgiou said that over the past several years, the authorities have made significant strides in restoring macroeconomic stability, rebuilding foreign reserves and strengthening overall confidence in the economy. These efforts, he observed, have been recognized by the public, investors and stakeholders, helping to place the country on a firmer economic footing. He emphasized that managing the impact of external shocks remains challenging for any economy, particularly in the current global environment. However, Sri Lanka's strengthened policy direction and reforms have improved its ability to respond effectively. The IMF official stressed that maintaining a consistent policy course will be critical going forward, along with allowing the economy to adjust to evolving conditions in order to sustain the gains already achieved. Papageorgiou also reaffirmed the IMF's commitment to continued engagement with Sri Lankan authorities as the country advances its reform agenda under the Extended Fund Facility Program.
Deputy Minister of Finance Dr. Anil Jayantha today emphasized in Parliament that the depreciation of the rupee against the US dollar is a short-term trend and it will not lead to an economic collapse. The Deputy Minister stated that the country is progressing steadily on a structured path of recovery. Responding to a question raised by Ilange Tamil Arasukatchi MP Shanakyan Rasamanikam, the minister expressed the following views.
We are all
aware that the Sri Lankan rupee is in a very weak and concerning position. People who hold even small amounts of dollars are reluctant to spend or convert them. Minister, we are in a very serious situation. From the outset, under the IMF program, we have been working in line with the performance criteria and have exceeded expectations across key indicators. This is how we were able to achieve economic stability by 2025. We also know that by the 27th May, we expect to receive approximately $700 million related to the 5th and 6th reviews. We believe this will be approved by the IMF Executive Board. As evidence, I would like to recall the statement made yesterday by IMF Mission Chief for Sri Lanka, Evan Papageorgiou. He clearly stated that Sri Lanka has demonstrated significant progress, strong macroeconomic stability, and notable improvements in rebuilding reserves. I reiterate that Sri Lanka's policy framework today is considerably stronger than in the past.
Considerably stronger than in the past.
Fuel sambandho mama karne garu amatitumani matukare.
I raised the issue of fuel subsidies. Currently, the government is providing a subsidy of over 100 rupees on diesel. This subsidy is extended even to those using luxury vehicles such as Range Rovers. Therefore, either this fuel subsidy should be reconsidered immediately or we must temporarily restrict the import of luxury goods. Fuel prices have increased by more than 50% and the impact of that is already being felt. However, we expect this situation to gradually ease. Based on the movement of prices, we will decide whether further adjustments are necessary. At present, no decisions has been taken for additional revisions. We will not take decisions to restrict imports or contract the economy. Our approach is to intervene based on data and evidence. Our priority is to expand the economy as much as possible and attract investment moving forward.
The Chief Executive Officer of Advocata Institute, Dhananath Fernando, has stated that fuel subsidies should be removed. Speaking during the Mawata program held yesterday, he emphasized that it would not be possible to control dollar demand without reducing domestic fuel consumption.
Fuel prices are still slightly lower than global market rates, particularly diesel. At present, diesel is being sold at around 392 rupees per litre. Based on our calculations, even without dealer margins, taxes or additional costs, the minimum price should be around 409 to 410 rupees. Therefore, it is not feasible to sell fuel at 392 rupees. Even if all taxes are removed, the issue remains that demand for fuel does not decrease. Fuel accounts for the largest share of imports, with around 23% recorded in March. As a result, there is no reduction in fuel demand. However, when prices were increased during a previous quarter, fuel consumption dropped by about 13%. Without reducing fuel consumption, it becomes difficult to bring down the demand for dollars. In my view, fuel should not be subsidized. While subsidies may provide temporary relief, they prevent a decline in consumption. If dollar outflows increase from $200 million 1 month to 300 million, then 400 million, and eventually 500 million, it creates pressure on the market. When dollars become scarce, the rupee depreciates. Once the rupee depreciates, the first impact is a further increase in fuel prices. This creates a cycle that becomes increasingly difficult to break.
Currencies across several Asian countries have depreciated amid the ongoing crisis in the Middle East, reflecting broader pressures on regional economies. Among the currencies most notably affected are the Indian rupee, the Philippine peso, and the Indonesian rupiah.
With the impact of the Middle East crisis, the Indian rupee has depreciated by 7% against the US dollar during the first 5 months of this year. As a result, the Indian rupee has now become the worst performing currency in Asia. Analysts note that the speed of the Indian rupee's depreciation represents one of the most significant risks faced by India's external sector. Over a period exceeding 1 year, the Indian rupee has depreciated by more than 14%. From a level of 85 rupees per US dollar in March 2025, the currency has weakened to 97 rupees against the dollar at present. This trend has been attributed to a combination of factors, including the rise in Brent crude oil prices beyond 100 US dollars per barrel due to tensions involving the United States and Iran, as well as significant capital outflows. It is reported that foreign investors have withdrawn a record amount ranging between 21 billion and 23 billion US dollars from India's stock market in 2026 alone. In addition, tariffs imposed by the United States on Indian exports have also contributed to the pressure on the currency.
Sri Lanka is currently on a path of economic recovery following years of low growth, Prime Minister Dr. Harini Amarasuriya stated while addressing a forum in London. She noted that the country's macroeconomic situation has strengthened with inflation successfully brought down, while fiscal performance has improved alongside growth in multiple sectors.
After years of low growth, we are now on a trajectory of recovery. Our macroeconomic situation has improved. We have been able to lower inflation. We are showing stronger fiscal performance, and we are showing growth in many areas. In 2025, we were able to achieve a growth of 5% in both 2024 and 2025. Our target for this year was 7 to 8%, and we are still hopeful. Global conditions are sometimes beyond our control, but we are still hopeful that we will be able to meet those targets for this year as well. GDP increased from 30.1 trillion in 2024 to 32.8 trillion, almost to 33 trillion in 2025. Per capita GDP improved we are now at just over 5,000 US dollars per capita. We've hit the 5,000 mark in 2025. We've shown a growth in our three main economic sectors: in agriculture, in industry, and in services. Our official reserves have increased. Workers' remittances increased in 2025 by almost 2 billion. Tourist arrivals, we recorded the highest tourist arrivals in 2025. This was despite Ditwa hitting us right in the middle of our tourist season. Our primary surplus has increased. The rupee remained steady in 2025. We are facing pressures on the rupee right now with the fluctuation experiencing in the energy market, but we are still managing it. Budget deficit narrowed from 6.8% of GDP to 2.3% in 2025. Our primary surplus improved. Our government debt declined from 95% of GDP to 91%. So we managed all this while repaying our debts as well.
Mathura Chief Magistrate Chaturanga Iranga Disanayaka today ordered the issuance of a warrant for the arrest of former Minister Basil Rajapaksa.
The order was issued after Rajapaksa failed to appear before the Mathura Magistrates Court in connection with a case filed against him over the alleged purchase of a 1.5-acre plot of land located at Browns Hill, Eliakand Road, Mathura, using unlawfully acquired funds.
The case was filed by the Police Financial Crimes Investigation Division against Basil Rajapaksa, his wife's sister Ayomagala Patti, her husband Tisagala Patti Mudita Jakodi over the alleged illegal acquisition of property in the Browns Hill area. Appearing on behalf of Rajapaksa, President's Counsel Anil De Silva presented medical reports to court, stating that his client was currently overseas, undergoing treatment due to ill health and therefore unable to appear before court. However, Senior State Counsel Kalana Kodikara, appearing on behalf of the Attorney General, informed court that air tickets had been booked for Rajapaksa to return to Sri Lanka on the day of the hearing and were subsequently cancelled. He further stated that the accused had been evading court appearances for nearly a year while presenting the same medical report repeatedly, thereby misleading the court. The State Counsel also revealed that even the ticket bookings appeared to have been arranged to mislead judicial proceedings. Taking into consideration the submissions made and the continued failure of Rajapaksa to appear before court, the Chief Magistrate ordered that a warrant be issued for his arrest. The court further directed that the suspect be immediately taken into custody and produced before court, while also imposing a travel ban on him. In addition, the third accused, Basil Rajapaksa, and the fourth accused, Ayomagala Patti, did not appear before open court during today's proceedings, although their sureties were present. The magistrate instructed the sureties that it is their responsibility to produce the accused before court on the next hearing date, scheduled for the 21st July. The court warned that failure to do so would result in forfeiture of bail money and ordered the sureties to show cause if the accused are not produced on the specified date.
The Colombo Fort Magistrates Court today heard further evidence for the fourth time in the magistrates' inquiry into the suspicious death of former Sri Lankan Airlines Chief Executive Officer Kapila Chandrasena.
During today's proceedings before Colombo Fort Magistrate Pasan Amarasekara, the Colombo Crimes Division presented a further investigation report stating that the two wallets belonging to the deceased had been recovered from his residence in the Barnes Place area. Investigating officers informed court that the wallets were discovered by a domestic worker while cleaning the house. The items were found in the corridor located in front of the deceased's room. At this point, the magistrate drew attention to the fact that a previous B report had indicated, based on CCTV footage, that no external party had entered the residence where the deceased was found. However, the magistrate also pointed out that during an earlier court hearing, a witness had stated that the deceased had been seen speaking with a person from outside the house in the living area. He instructed the investigating officers to clarify this discrepancy. Responding to court, investigating officers stated that while no external party had accessed the house through the parking area, it had been revealed that several individuals had entered through the front door. They further informed the court that investigations into this aspect are ongoing. The magistrate also inquired about the progress of steps taken in relation to the deceased's mobile phone. In response, officers stated that they had sought guidance from the Criminal Investigation Department regarding further action on the mobile devices. During today's proceedings, statements were recorded from 4 witnesses, including 2 individuals who had signed bail for Kapila Chandrasena. Further witness examination in the case is scheduled to continue on the 26th May.
Anuradhapura Masthanadhipati Venerable Pallegama Hemaratna Thero, who was remanded in custody over allegations related to the serious sexual abuse of a minor girl, and the victim's mother, who had also been remanded for allegedly aiding and abetting the offence, were today ordered to be released on strict bail conditions. The order was issued by Anuradhapura Chief Magistrate and Additional District Judge Siapath Sasidu Vikramaratna.
The Anuradhapura Magistrates Court imposed 2 personal bail bonds of 5 million rupees each on Venerable Pallegama Hemaratna Thero. In addition, a cash bail of 100,000 rupees was imposed by the Chief Magistrate. A travel ban was also issued against the suspect monk, preventing him from leaving the country, with instructions issued to the Controller General of Immigration and Immigration. The Chief Magistrate further warned the suspect not to interfere with witnesses. The magistrate informed the suspect that if there is any report to the court of attempts to influence witnesses, bail would be cancelled and he would be remanded again. Meanwhile, the victim's mother was granted bail on 2 personal bonds of 500,000 rupees each, with a similar travel ban imposed on her.
Sri Lanka's continued reliance on outdated legal and technological systems has increased its exposure to cybersecurity threats, including financial fraud and identity theft. Deputy Minister of Digital Economy Eranga Veeraratne told Parliament today. He also pointed out the need for urgent reforms to strengthen national cyber resilience.
The continued use of outdated legacy systems has increased exposure to cybersecurity threats such as financial frauds, theft of identity and so on. Many of these legacy systems no longer receive vendor security updates or patches, which significantly increases their vulnerability to modern cyber attacks. In line with the government digital blueprint, the government has emphasized the need to develop secure, scalable and interoperable digital infrastructure that supports efficient public service delivery while ensuring stronger cybersecurity controls. Accordingly, institutions are expected to migrate from legacy platforms to modern, secure systems, adopt standardized cybersecurity frameworks to reduce risk and improve resilience across public sector digital ecosystems. As per the Cabinet-approved information and cybersecurity policy for government organizations, all government institutions are advised to promptly report cybersecurity incidents to SLCERT to facilitate coordinated incident response. However, there is currently no mandatory legal obligation requiring organizations to report cybersecurity incidents to SLCERT. That's why we are now in the process of forming the cybersecurity law to establish a cybersecurity regulatory authority to mandate the implementation and the reporting of all cybersecurity related incidents. The government of Sri Lanka is expected to implement several urgent coordinated measures to strengthen national resilience against future cyber warfare, cyber threats and organized cybercrime.
A new phase of the Gamma the Rebuild initiative for communities affected by Ditwa cyclone was launched today in Kandy. The program aims to uplift the lives of affected communities by enhancing their vocational skills and improving the quality of their livelihoods. The initiative is being carried out in partnership with the Mindero Foundation of Australia.
In the aftermath of Cyclone Ditwa, emergency relief operations were conducted over several days through Sirasa Shakti Sahana Yatra. The next step focused on rebuilding the lives of those affected. Accordingly, the Gamma the Care and Dare program was implemented across several districts in the country. As the third phase of the efforts to rebuild the nation following the cyclone, the Gamma the Rebuild program is now being carried out. The initiative focuses on improving the vocational capabilities of individuals engaged in self-employment who were affected by the cyclone. Another session of the program was held today at the Kandy Technical College premises. The event took place under the patronage of Director of the Department of Technical Education and Training, Vatsala Maramage. Among those present were the Director of the Kandy Technical College, KDSK Kahatpitia, Director of the National Apprentice and Industrial Training Authority, Priyantha Fernando, Gammad Assistant Manager, Gihan Udyoga, and members of the Gammad team. Special training programs were conducted throughout the day for individuals engaged in fields such as masonry, carpentry, electrical work, metal fabrication, plumbing and garment design. The program is being implemented jointly by Gammadda in collaboration with the National Apprentice and Industrial Training Authority, the Department of Technical Education and Training and the Kandy District Secretariat.
මෙම කරන වැඩසටහන වටිනා වැඩසටහනක් මේවා අපිට ලොකු ශක්තියක් වෙනවා. ඇත්තටම සන්තෝෂ වෙනවා අපි වගේ උදවියට ඒ අවස්ථාව ලබා දුන්න ගැන ඇත්තටම සන්තෝෂයි මට.
Certificates and equipment are scheduled to be distributed to the participants tomorrow.
A press briefing announcing the Sri Lankan German Business Forum 2026 was held in Colombo today.
The Sri Lankan German Business Forum 2026 will take place from the 27th to the 29th of May. Organized by the Delegation of German Industry and Commerce in Sri Lanka, with the support of the German Embassy in Colombo, a briefing on the event took place in Colombo today. Speaking at the conference, Ambassador of Sri Lanka to Germany, Dr. Felix Newman, shared his views on the relations between Sri Lanka and Germany.
The forthcoming Sri Lankan German Business Forum, I just mentioned it, will be a cornerstone in this context. It will create opportunities for stronger trade and investment and cooperation across many sectors. Sectors with high potential, including renewable energy, logistics, healthcare technology, IT services, and agribusiness. Germany and Sri Lanka share the belief that trade should be free, fair, and mutual beneficial. Good business does not know losers on the one side, it knows winners on both sides. Strengthening collaboration through joint ventures, technology exchange, and workforce development will drive growth. Investing in mutual understanding, skills development, and transparent trade regulations will ensure lasting economic partnerships and people-to-people connections.
Chief Delegate of the Delegation of German Industry and Commerce in Sri Lanka, Martin Close, also shared his views on the forum.
The program of the forum showcases opportunities in innovation, in digitization, sustainability, exports, GSP Plus utilization, and port and infrastructure projects, and the financing part of those projects. Through dialogue, networking, company visits, the forum is expected to create a real practical pathway for long-term collaboration, stronger investor confidence, and new bilateral business opportunities.
This year's forum will welcome key decision makers from both the German public and private sectors who will travel to Sri Lanka to explore new opportunities for collaboration, investment, and knowledge exchange.
The delegation of German Industry and Commerce in Sri Lanka, with the support of the German Embassy in Colombo, today hosted the Sri Lanka Business Forum 2026. Now today, many key delegations of public and private sectors today attended to discuss how important it is to develop trade and bilateral relationships alongside Sri Lanka and Germany. And they especially discussed how important it is in order to develop maritime trade, sustainability, tourism, and such important key factors to be developed in the future alongside the partnership and connection with Germany and Sri Lanka. I'm Tiara Anthony, reporting to you from Newsfirst.
A landmark publication celebrating Sri Lankan design aesthetics has been launched in Colombo. Udeshant Fernando, Living Design, traces the creative journey of the founder of Paradise Road and his influence on architecture, hospitality, and contemporary art.
A new monograph titled Udeshant Fernando, Living Design has been released by Rizzoli International, honoring the life and work of renowned Sri Lankan designer and entrepreneur Udeshant Fernando. Published by the internationally acclaimed publisher, the book documents Fernando's decades-long contribution to interior design, hospitality, product design, and fine art curation in Sri Lanka. The monograph explores how Fernando blended Sri Lankan cultural heritage with global modernism through the use of reclaimed timber, hand-pressed cement, and curated artistic spaces. The publication also features works from the historic 43 group, including paintings by George Cape and Ivan Pires. An accompanying exhibition titled Udeshant Fernando Living Design will be held from 23rd of May to 29th at the Udeshant and Angelika Fernando Foundation in Colombo, with the official launch celebrating debut today.
Cyclone Detwa struck harder than we ever imagined. But we moved into action even faster than the force of the disaster itself. Relief. We did not stop at providing relief. Recovery. Our mission was to restore and rebuild their livelihoods. Rebuild. With proper training and certification. Beneficiaries in the Norelia district were empowered with sewing machines, laptops, and other essential tools. Gammatha. Rebuild Sri Lanka.
We now move on to world news, where we have fresh details in the investigations taking place into the death of the 5 Italian divers in the Maldives.
We also have the latest developments of the conflict in the Middle East as talks continue with varying nations, with Pakistan as a mediator.
Umitra Bekon is ready to give you the details on these stories. Umitra.
Yes, Martin and Therni. Now, international media say that investigators now believe that the 5 Italian divers who vanished inside an underwater cave system in the Maldives may have become trapped after taking a wrong turn deep below the surface. The group disappeared during a dive near Alimata Island in Vau Atoll on the 14th of May in what has since become the deadliest diving tragedy in Maldivian history.
Authorities recovered GoPro cameras, dive computers and other underwater equipment from the cave system where the 5 Italian divers were found dead earlier this week. Investigators hope the footage could help reconstruct the group's final movements inside the underwater chambers near Vau Atoll, a popular Maldives diving destination known for strong currents and deep cave systems. Recovery teams found the divers inside the cave's deepest chamber alongside recovered GoPro cameras that could now reveal their final moments, including how panic, poor visibility and rapidly falling oxygen levels may have turned the exploration fatal. According to reports from Finnish technical divers involved in the recovery mission, the group likely entered the wrong chamber after visibility collapsed underwater. Stirred up sand and silt may have created what divers call a sand wall illusion, making the correct exit impossible to see. The divers were eventually discovered near a dead-end third chamber at depths reaching nearly 200 feet. The victims were identified as marine ecology professor Monica Montefalcon, her daughter Georgia Summercole, marine researcher Muriel Odenino, Federico Gualtieri, and dive instructor Gianluca Benedetti.
Taking a look at the latest developments on the ongoing Middle East conflict, now Iran's foreign minister met Pakistan's interior minister today to discuss proposals to end the US-Israeli war, the Iranian media reported, with Tehran and Washington still at odds over Tehran's uranium stockpile and the controls on the Strait of Hormuz. In the most recent development, Pakistan's Army Chief Field Marshal Asim Munir departed for Tehran today to discuss the Iran-US talks, Pakistan security sources reported. Now, during the visit, Munir will meet key senior Iranian figures.
The semi-official Tasnim and ISNA news agency reported 2 days after presenting the Iranians with the latest US message in the negotiations, Said Mohsen Naqvi held another round of talks with Iranian Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi in Tehran. ISNA reported Naqvi was facilitating communication to try and achieve a framework for ending the war and resolving differences. U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio told reporters on Thursday there had been some good signs in the talks, but there could be no solution if Tehran enforced a tolling system in the Strait of Hormuz, which it effectively closed to most shipping after the war began on 28th of February. A senior Iranian source told foreign media on Thursday that gaps had been narrowed, although uranium enrichment and the Strait of Hormuz remained among the sticking points. U.S. President Donald Trump said the U.S. would eventually recover Iran's stockpile of highly enriched uranium, which Washington believes is destined for a nuclear weapon, though Tehran says it is intended purely for peaceful purposes. Two senior Iranian sources told Reuters before Trump's comments that Iranian Supreme Leader Ayatollah Mojtaba Khamenei had issued a directive that the uranium should not be sent abroad.
Let's now take a look at the sports news.
Umitra is once again ready to bring us the details.
Yes, Martin and Therni, moving on to sports news. Now, in the latest developments in sports, today marks an important day for Sri Lanka in the sport of Wushu. The 2026 South Asian Wushu Summit and official election were held today. Here is your sports roundup with a brief look at those stories and several other major sporting headlines.
The South Asian Wushu Summit and official election was sponsored this time by the Wushu Federation of Sri Lanka. A large number of people participated, including officials from Wushu federations of South Asian countries and representatives from the Chinese embassy. The group representing Sri Lanka included Manil Dharmakirti Herath, the former president of the Wushu Federation of Sri Lanka, and Vijit Edirisinghe, the current president of the federation. The 2026 Commonwealth Chess Championship continued for its 6th day in Vaskadua today. Competitions are being held across open, junior and 4 age group categories. Nearly 500 players from 14 countries are participating in the tournament. The tournament is scheduled to conclude on the 26th of this month. Norway's Casper Ruud qualified for the men's singles semi-finals of this year's Geneva Open tennis tournament. He achieved this by defeating Australia's Alexei Popyrin in straight sets 2-0. The final scoreline read 6-4, 6-3. Belgium's Alex Segaert won the 12th stage of the 109th Giro d'Italia cycling tour. The distance of the stage was 175 kilometers. Belgian rider Alex Segaert claimed the victory with a recorded time of 3 hours and 53 minutes. Afonso Iulialio has managed to take the overall lead in the tour. Born in Poland, Afonso is currently competing under the Bahrain flag.
And that will bring to a close this edition of Primetime News on TV1.
Thank you for joining us. Good night.